Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody tonight? Thank you guys. Those of you who are in the chat now on YouTube, welcome, welcome. I am here on time tonight. Hey Neil, what's up? Landfish, see you in the chat there. What's up, y'all? How is everybody this lovely Tuesday evening? It's been storming here a little bit, so if y'all hear thunder, my apologies. Can't control the weather. Spectarticus, hey, what's up? RC Scott, what's up, what's up? What's up, everybody? I'm gonna let people filter in here a little bit, and then I'm gonna get started here. Spoon, it's 1 a.m. also. Hi, hey Spoon, what's up? How are you? Love the video you put out recently. I think I commented on it today. Guys, if you haven't, you guys should check out Spoon's channel. He's grade A commentary, and I think we agree on most things. Hello, hello. Quick question, am I allowed to like tomboys? I need info, please. Why are you asking me if you're allowed to like tomboys? It's kind of weird, don't you think? RC Scott said that Megadeth Lamb of God show was great. Hardly anyone was wearing a mask. That's awesome. Unfortunately, the venue that they came through in my area required vaccinations. So, yeah. Did another one just now. Cool, cool. I'll have to check it out after my stream. I'm only planning on streaming for an hour tonight, guys. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We have, I think, 12 or 13 people watching. If you guys want to bring up anything towards the end of the stream, I'll let you know. But I do have some topics that I do want to get into tonight. Kibble said, woohoo, on time. I am on time tonight. For those of you who might be new here, I tend to be late to my own streams. So I do have one thing. Obviously, the topic for tonight is gonna be unity and tribalism, kind of both. But I do have this that I want to talk about tonight. Hopefully you guys can see this. So, this is an article that I happened to see today, and the title of the article is U.S. poverty declined overall last year due to pandemic relief, the census says. The U.S. Census Bureau released its 2020 Income and Poverty Report on Tuesday, revealing the economic toll that COVID has taken on Americans. So I read this, and I see that they're patting themselves on the back for relief. And so I went ahead and made the mistake of actually reading the article, which of course only further infuriated me. And I promise this is actually related to what I'm going to talk about tonight, what I'm going to get into in my little intro that I'm doing here. So this is what they said. This was the article. The official poverty rate rose slightly in 2020 to 11.4%, up from a record low 10.5% in 2019. The U.S. Census reported, but that figure mostly reflects cash payments to Americans. After accounting for all the government aid payments, the Census supplemental poverty measure showed a decline from 11.8% in 2019 to 9.1% in 2020. So, reading this article makes me want to Fed post. I'm not going to, but I have not seen anything that makes me want to Fed post so bad in quite some time. Matt, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate you. This stream will be up if you want to watch it later. Have a good night's sleep. I have never seen an article in a long time, because y'all know I'm not active on a personal Twitter anymore, so I don't tend to see these things. I made the mistake of going to my news tab on Facebook. Mistake, don't do it. So, this article, I don't, how they could do this to people and then pat themselves on the back and say, well, we gave you money, so you're welcome, is absolutely, like, it's beyond infuriating to me, and everyone should be out. I'm genuinely outraged by this. I try not to give into outrage a lot, but this makes me so incredibly angry. I cannot even begin to describe to you how angry this makes me, because I will, if I told you how angry this article actually makes me, I would probably get kicked off of YouTube. You guys are welcome to look up this article for yourself. It's NBC News. And actually Yahoo did an article on it as well. Yahoo also had an article. So, this article claims that the decrease in poverty was solely driven by the government's response to the pandemic and the distribution of stimulus checks and additional unemployment benefits under the CARES Act. And then they go on to say, there's reason to be concerned that poverty might rise, but it's okay because, you know, we cured poverty. Sure, your dollar means nothing. We've devalued your currency, so the money that we did give you is essentially meaningless because of inflation. But here we go. Did I just get called a Yank in my chat? Did a Norwegian just call me a Yank? Don't call me a Yank, sir. That's like, calling me a Yank is like my N-word. Don't call me that. By Fed post, it means like, and that's not Yank slang. That's internet slang, sir. For the boomers in the chat, Norwegian or otherwise, Fed posting is essentially to do things that would gather the attention of the FBI, making threats and things like that. Anyway, I know that these people do this on purpose. These articles like this. Are you a Canuck? Sir, I am an American. Now I'm getting called a leaf? Oh my god, so I've been called a Yank and a leaf. Oh my god. Do I sound Canadian? I'm from the middle of America, sir. God's country. Anyways, I just had to show y'all this. You guys are welcome to go in and look up this article specifically. But I thought I would show it to you because it infuriated me. Okay, there we go. Had to take those things off my screen. Okay. Spoon, you have to know Yank is slang for Americans to Europeans. Oh, I was aware, I thought that the slang for Americans was, burgers. But, okay. Let's stay on target. I can roast Europe wars later. Okay. Okay, staying on target. You guys should look up that article. Yahoo actually did an article on it as well. So, just thank your Lord and Savior government for giving you your little stimmies, your stimulus checks, because they saved you from poverty. That's the takeaway here. So, all right. So, before I get into tribalism and unity, I do want to address something. That's why I brought up that article. I have never been one of those people who is very cringy about people voting. Thankfully, I am not one of those people who was ever very cringy and tried to claim that the very act of voting is violence and giving power to the state and all this. I've never been one of those people. Thankfully, I somehow escaped that in my Lolbert phase. But I have been someone who... I'd never discouraged people from voting, but I did consider it not necessarily a waste of time, but perhaps not the best use of our efforts to go out there and be political people. And by be political people, I mean like get involved in politics, directly in politics and voting and campaigning for people and things like that. Come here, Chili. Here, give me cheese. Here, trade you. Come here, cheese. Okay. All right. Go on, Chili. Go on. Okay, sorry. So, I've never been one of those people that has called voting violence or anything like that, but I was one of those people who said, well, politics isn't the best use of our time. There's not a point in getting involved in all that cringy stuff. But over the past 2 years, I think all of us have been forced to reconsider a lot of our positions, and this is in fact a very good thing. I have never been a person who's afraid to admit when I'm wrong. You guys know I talk about all the time my Lolbert phase, how wrong I was about a lot of things. That's healthy. We should be able to do that. And so tonight I'm starting off the stream because I think it will reflect on what I'm going to talk about later. Admitting that I have been incorrect about something. And Yiz is in the chat. Yiz has actually been a person who has changed my mind, sort of, tangentially about this. So I've met a lot of really good people who are encouraging people to get involved locally. Pushing localism, saying it's important to get involved in your community. Yiz has been one of those people. And also, a lot of the post-libertarian guys have talked about people who are living in Ancapistan in their heads, and they're not trying to gain influence in their communities. They're not doing any of that. They're just sitting basically on Twitter or streaming like I am now. They're being talking heads, but when it comes to actually having influence, they simply do not have any. And that's a problem. And so I'm going to start the stream off tonight by saying I have been inspired by multiple people, the people I named and many others, and by what has been happening over the past 2 years. People have not been allowed to attend funerals. People have been barred from hospitals as their children are born. People have been told that they are not allowed to have a job if they don't consider or get a medical procedure, regardless of what you think of that medical procedure. This is ridiculous, and the only way it's going to stop is if we don't huddle down in our bunkers and we do something about it. Now, I am still of the opinion that most people, your average person, myself included, probably will do more just by having children and raising them well than by anything we could do politically. But I don't think that means that we shouldn't be aware and get involved when we can locally. As far as I'm concerned, federal politics is a complete waste. Local politics is where we can make change and where we can actually change people's minds. And so I'm going to do that. I've reached out to local legislators, and I only work on the weekends now, and I'm going to be meeting with some people locally, some people that have been elected. One guy that was elected close to my area is a Rothbardian in the Republican Party. There are good people trying to make change, And I have reached out to people locally and tried to organize a protest and got very positive responses from people of all ages, older people and younger people. And that is what I'm gonna do. And I urge all of you, I usually do not use my platform to directly tell people to do something. I'm just a person who puts ideas out there and lets you do what you want with them. I am urging you to get out there and do something. Especially if you're an American in this chat. Europeans as well. We have to do something. I mean, for God's sake, they're putting people in camps in Australia. It's not a joke anymore. We all joked about the COOF camps. It's not a joke. There are mandates. There are federal mandates coming down that are going to cause people to lose their livelihoods because they simply choose not to get a medical procedure. What? It's time to get involved. It's time to do something. And so I'm going to do that personally. I'm probably not going to talk about it a lot on here, but I'm fortunate enough to live in an area that has pushed back against mask mandates and things like that. But a federal mandate coming down is a big deal. It's a big deal. You can say, oh, well, they're not actually going to do it. They're just pushing as far as they can push and hoping that conservatives don't push back. I'm not going to sit here and just hope that conservatives push back. I'm not going to do that. Get involved. Like Yiz is saying in the chat, you have to get active and start pushing back against tyranny. That starts in your town. It starts in your neighborhood. Just talk to people. So that's what I'm going to start this out as. Now, it's going to seem a little weird when I start talking about unity and tribalism. But I think it connects to what I just said. And I just wanted to start this stream off maybe admitting that I was wrong about something and urging people to get involved. And Leo's saying in the chat, I think the time for political action has passed. You can say that, but what else are you going to do about it? Realistically. Everyone needs to do what they can, and right now that's what I can do, as well as working on other things in my personal life that I don't talk about, because you guys know I don't share every aspect of my personal life with you guys, because I've seen what happens when people do that, and that's fine. I don't expect everyone to be bragging about, and don't take this as me bragging about, oh, I'm going to be so important. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make change wherever I can, and I think everyone else should anyway. And I'm not an agorist. I did an entire stream on agorism, which you know, Artemis. Anyways, I just wanted to start out the stream with that and urge everybody to take action wherever they can. That's all. Stop living in Ancapistan in your head. Tyranny is here and we have to push back against it. Yes, Yiz is making a very good point in the chat. Taking political action isn't the same as localism and putting pressure on your local officials. I want to make it clear when I'm talking about get involved, I'm not talking about just vote in your local election and things like that. I am talking about staging protest, gathering with people in your community and having serious conversations about what may or may not be going on in your community and telling them why it's wrong, giving them realistic solutions and urging them to put pressure on local officials. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, localism is using every avenue possible to push out hostile elements in your area. We must do this or we're just waiting for tyranny to come knocking. Yeah, and I mean, I'd argue it's already here. I think what we do, what each state does. Now, I will say, I'm not being doom and gloom. Don't get me wrong. My state is one of over half now. I think over half of the states in the United States have now had governors come out and say they are not going to comply with a federal mandate. This is fantastic, but we need to make sure they do so in any way possible. That's what I'm talking about. So, that's a great start to the stream. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I saw people, just before I get into the next topic, I did see people talking about the guitar in the background. We have several. They're all my husband's. I have no idea what guitar that is. I think that just might be an ESP case. I'm not sure. I think that's his bass. I don't know. I can't remember which guitar is in that case. There's actually several guitars in the opposite corner. You see a guitar here. There's a couple next to it too that you can't see that aren't in the frame. So, yes, if you guys like what Yiz is saying in the chat, please do follow Yiz on Odyssey. That's primarily where the awesome content is, I believe, but also YouTube as well, but mostly Odyssey. So every week I stream and say I need to move my things over to Odyssey, and I don't. Keep bullying me to move over to Odyssey. At least back my things up to Odyssey. I have been accepted as a creator on Odyssey. I actually need to do it. Okay. All right. All right. Sorry, I was reading the chat there. Good discussions going on. Okay. So, unity, tribalism. I'm going to talk about things that I see a lot. Like, a lot, especially these days in libertarian circles. Ah, yes, Cheese is in my lap. Cheese is my miniature dachshund, for those of you who are confused. She may pop her head up every once in a while. So, let's talk about tribalism first, because I think I need to make a few disclaimers here. I hate having disclaimers, but it's just necessary. So, when I talk about tribalism from here on out, I need you all to understand that by tribalism, I mean essentially, to me, when I say tribalism, I mean in-group preference. I know and am well aware that tribalism has become something that everyone touts as bad, but I think it's very insidious, and I know it depends on what you mean by it, but I'm not going to argue definitions. I just want you to know that that's what I mean when I talk about tribalism. To me, having a tribe, a group that you feel at home with, is very important. Always has been. And to me, the constant discussion surrounding tribalism as being negative only seems to go certain ways. I'm trying to be diplomatic about this, but honestly, there's not really a diplomatic way to talk about this, so I'm just going to speak my mind. I tend to only see people saying tribalism is bad when they're talking about A, white people trying to embrace in-group preference, and B, right-wing people who are unashamedly right-wing and don't pretend to be otherwise. I will see people attack them and say, well, tribalism is so bad, you shouldn't care about that, or you shouldn't care about X thing. Those are the two times I most often see people say tribalism is bad, and I think that's very telling. Yiz has a great point in the chat here. Tribalism isn't positive or negative, it's a human trait. Agree. I think the reason why, that touches on a very great point, I think the reason why I get so weirded out when I see people, especially libertarian circles, and to some extent like the conservative Inc. kind of circles too, talking about how tribalism is so bad and we should reject all that, it weirds me out, because to me, a tribe is a place where you belong. And I think that everyone has a place where they belong, where they feel most comfortable, where they feel most at home. And to reject that in favor of unity, which we're going to get into in a second, is extremely weird. Like Colton is saying in the chat, tribes come from family. It's not some random thing that we made up. Just like in-group preference is real. It's not some thing. There's this narrative that tribalism, in-group preference, these things are not inherent. They're things that are taught to us from a young age. And that's the only reason why we associate things with good or bad, or we associate things with certain groups. That's incorrect. People are different. No two humans are exactly the same. I know people on my channel listening to this, and if you're watching this back, if you somehow stumbled across my channel, you might be thinking, well, of course, this is no longer something that is considered to be truth or self-evident anymore. This is something that, in fact, is considered to be blasphemy. For me to say that I have in-group preference, for example, for my own family versus other families, is considered selfish and wrong. And that's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And I think it's incorrect. Now, when I talk about unity, I'm going to be kind of talking about it twofold here. So, when I'm talking about unity being bad, I'm going to be talking about unity just for the sake of unity. For example, in libertarian circles, there has been a huge push for bottom unity, as in left libertarians and right libertarians. I think this is idiotic. I think there's no nice way to say this. I have been known to say that bottom unity is for bottoms. I think it's stupid. My personal opinion is that right unity is a much better and realistic solution than bottom unity ever is. And for those of you who are confused, bottom unity, it's like the bottom half of the political compass, which I don't necessarily think is all accurate. It's accurate all the time, obviously. Pablo in the chat, we are all tribal at varying rates of denial. Is that what we said? We are all tribal by nature, just in varying states of denial. I agree. I don't necessarily think it's something that's bad, of course. Obviously, I think it's a good thing. I think that tribalistic instinct in us is something that is telling us in the back of our heads that this isn't right and we should probably be doing something about it. But a lot of people don't, because they've been guilted out of it, told that they're evil for having it, in fact, and this is wrong. If you don't know what bottom unity is, it's the bottom half of the political compass. So left libertarian, right libertarian, the bottom half of the political compass. Which as I've said, I think is idiotic. Honestly, I could do an entire live stream on who I think are natural allies. I've kind of talked about this before, guys. In my opinion, natural allies are people who are anti-egalitarian and embrace the natural order and hierarchy, and I don't mean artificial, I mean natural hierarchy. Neil Stone in the chat, right unity sucks. Sorry, I don't want to work with someone that will kill me just for my sexuality. Neil, that's fine, but I don't want to work with people that will kill me because I'm white. So, I mean, that's fair. You do you and I'll do me. How about that? I also don't agree that people on the right at all have... I don't agree with Artemis in the chat that right unity isn't ideal. I don't think other people on the right who aren't necessarily libertarian have different views on universal morality. But that's just my opinion. I knew this was going to be spicy. And that's okay. We don't have to agree. But I'm not here to make everyone feel comfortable. And if you think I am, you haven't watched my channel very often and aren't familiar with me. All right. We could derail all night on the chat. No comfy today, yo, Cass. Cass is correct. So back to unity. There has been this notion in libertarian circles and beyond that we should ally with absolutely anyone who agrees with us on anything. And I think that's a big mistake. Strategically, absolutely. And I think it's got the potential to be deadly. For those of you who aren't familiar with my political journey, I used to be one of those people that essentially I called myself libertarian, but I was basically a centrist. Libertarianism is not centrism. Libertarianism is right-wing. I could do an entire stream on that too. But that gives you a little bit more insight into my perspective of why I think unity, if just for the sake of unity, is stupid. I am under no obligation to ally with people who don't agree with me on anything except one thing. And I think largely the push for unity when it comes to unifying with more left-wing people who clearly don't even have the same worldview as me, it's essentially a psyop. The chat is saying gatekeeping is important for the preservation of the group values. If anyone is allowed, the group values will inevitably change. Yes. There is a very good reason that I came out as Hoppian this year. I think Hans Hermann Hoppe has the most realistic view on tolerance. I've done an entire live stream on tolerance as a virtue. If you are confused about why my take on tribalism and unity is this take, then I urge you to go back and watch my live stream that I did on tolerance. I think it'll give you a lot of insight into why this is what I think is strategically the best thing or not the best thing. When it comes to keeping people out who are going to subvert the actual values of a group, no tolerance is the best policy. And that's what I've done. I have had so many arguments on this channel, both live, in my Telegram, all of that, about gatekeeping, and I do need to make a video on it or dedicate an entire live stream to explaining my views on gatekeeping, because clearly some people are confused. I fully support gatekeeping. Because it's the only way out of this. I'm tired of moving from label to label to label because things that I believe in, groups that I associate myself with, get subverted. I'm done. I'm a Hoppian. I'm still a libertarian. I am an anarcho-capitalist. I'm not leaving. I touched on this a little bit in my last stream. If you're trying to subvert this, I will call you out for it. I will point, laugh at you, mock you, just straight up mock you and make fun of you, because it's what you deserve. Mises actually has a very good quote on this. Mises points out that neither Marx or Engels refuted their enemies' arguments with any response other than mocking them, slandering them, that sort of thing. That's what I'm doing. I'm done dealing with people. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. And so when it comes to unity for the sake of unity, which is the unity that I'm referring to in the title of this video, I'm not doing it. I'm going to ally with people that make sense, preferably people that don't want to kill me or my future children. And if you think that's crazy, you are probably someone that's trying to subvert everything that I love, and I'm not going to let that happen. So I'm done tolerating that sort of thing. I've been done. And if you're not done after the past 2 years tolerating that sort of thing, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. I'm being completely serious. I'm not joking around. This is my actual opinion, and I think if more people held this opinion, libertarianism and a lot of other things would be in a lot better of a situation right now. There's been a joke that subversives is a Hoppian's favorite word, and that's fine. There's a lot of subversion, so it is going to be a topic that comes up a lot. But I think in the last few live streams that I've done and in future videos, expect me to take a very consistent view on this. I'm not messing around anymore. This is serious. We are facing a kind of tyranny that I've never faced in my lifetime. Perhaps my parents haven't ever faced in their lifetime either. And things are about to get very, very real for a lot of people because of the things that are happening in this country. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning of the stream, me changing my mind on getting involved and pushing localism. It needs to be done. It must be done, one might say. And so I will. And like Colton is saying in the chat right now, subversion is probably one of the most important things to understand at this point. If you do not understand, like I at one point did not understand, how are these people coming into every group, every hobby, everything I love, and making it about things that it's not about, making about things that they believe in, not things that I believe in. If you don't understand why that's happening, you are dangerous to yourself and others, and I urge you to actually look into it. Maybe I'll make a video on it historically. I'm not sure how I could do that and not get demonetized, but maybe I'll try to figure it out. I said in my Telegram channel earlier today, and I will stand by this, unity is just a fluffy word for forced integration. That's all it is. Probably all it ever will be. You guys know I'm a part of a lot of hobbies that people, if they only knew that I participated in these hobbies, would probably believe that I was leftist. And in fact, that does happen to me a lot. It's fine. I don't get angry anymore when it happens because it's a fair assumption at this point. But I'm taking this stance for a reason. I'm not just randomly going along with it. It's because of personal experience and actually reading up on history and understanding how subversion works and what it is. Everyone has to take this position if you're serious, in my opinion. Yiz is making a very good point in the chat. Thank you for bringing it up, Yiz. Yiz said, unity or being part of a collective isn't the same thing as collectivism or universalism. We can be a collective of unified Hoppians without being a collectivist. Unified groups, i.e. collectives, are how humans build society. I will say, on the other end of the scale, I used to be one of those libertarians who said all collectivism is evil. That's stupid. That's asinine. When I say unity for the sake of unity, I'm not saying that anybody who unifies with anyone is collectivist. If I was saying that, me saying that I think right ally is going to be better for us than bottom unity, then I would be preaching unity, right? Which I said I'm not for. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think hyper-individualism, these libertarians especially who are super autistic about how individualist they are, to the point where I actually had libertarians one time on Twitter telling me that if I didn't stop preaching the importance of family, that I was just a filthy collectivist. That's insane. Collectives are necessary for society. Families are collectives. I've talked about this on stream a lot. I know Yiz knows I don't mean this, but it is a good point. I do want to bring it up for anyone that's watching this back that might not be as familiar with my views. I am not a hyper-individualist. I am not saying all unity is bad. I'm saying unity just for the sake of unity and is bad. And I think that a lot of leftist people in particular, if you say, I don't want to ally with you, we have different worldviews and such, they'll say things like, well, you should unify with us because if you don't, you're a bad person, and they use all these things against you. That's what I mean. I am not a hyper-individualist. I think that is extremely autistic and idiotic to be a hyper-individualist. It's why I tend not to get along with objectivists. Just in my view, a lot of the libertarians that I run into that are preaching at me or getting angry at me or screeching at me and telling me I'm clearly collectivist, they tend to be objectivists. So that's why we usually don't get along. But, all right. I'm kind of just going in circles in here. I've made my point. So I'll just kind of look at the chat now. Magrid in the chat says, is right-wing collectivism who preserves people and traditions better than left-wing collectivism? Yes, and it's not even close. It's not close. It's not close at all. GC Anarchy said, I love to hear you and Pete talk. Are you talking about Pete, Beyond the Wall? Pete Quinones? Quinones? I feel like I always pronounce his name incorrectly. I'd love to have a conversation with Pete. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Over the past year and a half, I've been really impressed with Pete's, we call it a heel turn. I don't want to call it a heel turn because that makes it sound like he's a heel and he's bad and he's turned good. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think a lot of people, Pete included, I've heard him talk about it now, have changed their minds over the past year and a half. And I think that's awesome. It took me much longer to do so. About a couple years longer to do that. So when I see that happen, it's awesome. I love to have a conversation with Pete. He's got a much bigger platform than I do at this point, now that I'm kicked off Twitter, so. Leo said, kill it today, Kenzie. This chat's wild in a good way. Hey, thanks, Leo. Rambler, you get a view and a like, but I'm going to watch later. Just started writing. All right, thank you so much for stopping by. Obviously, this will be up later. I leave all my live streams up later, so I can make fun of myself later. Neil Stone, I only bring up race because Mac mentioned whites not being able to have a group identity. Yeah, that's just a fact. I think that's indisputable at this point. I saw Spoon said, hey, I would consider myself an objectivist. Spoon, that surprises me because I feel like we agree on a lot of things. And I usually don't agree with objectivists. It's not really that I don't usually agree with objectivists. They just tend to not like me. But you're here, so. Guys, this has been a wild, really good chat tonight. Thank you all for coming out. Colton brought up the fact that if there are any egalitarians in the chat, they should read Egalitarianism as a Revolt Against Nature by Rothbard. Absolutely, I'm always suggesting that. Artemis said, me and Mac agree on a lot of things, and your algorithm. Yes, we're changing that though. White healing's happening. I feel racial consciousness rising rapidly in America, especially where I live. It's wonderful. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be doomer. I do think that is changing. It's one of the reasons why I finally decided to stop cucking and not talking about that as a topic. Because I think it's important. A.G. Cass said, guess I need to read up on Hoppianism. You described everything I hate about libertarians. If you haven't read up on Hans Hermann Hoppe, I have the book right here. This is my first suggestion to you. This is, I believe, available for free online at Mises.org. Just look up this. I have the paper copy. Start here. This is my personal suggestion. Actually, I read the first part of this on my YouTube channel. If you want a little preview, you just want to listen to something. That's my first suggestion to you. People have been asking me to make a video on Hoppianism and Hans Hermann Hoppe and things like that. I may do that. But yeah, if you're watching this, you're listening to this back, look into Hoppe. Seriously. Yes said, indeed, race isn't the only thing we should talk about, but it's an important puzzle piece in the puzzle we should all recognize and embrace. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, I think the obsession with it is a little much. People that are obsessed with it. There's a balance, but it is something that we should talk about. It's not something that should be ignored. Space, one of Eric's mods shared your channel link, and I hadn't seen you forever on Twitter, so I decided to sub. Hey, yeah, I saw your name and it looked really familiar. You were a Twitter follower, weren't you? Yeah, I got yeeted off of there in February. It seems like it's been a lifetime ago now. But I'm here every Tuesday evening, and I am also streaming twice during the week on Twitch as well, just playing video games for anybody that wants to hang out and misses me on Twitter. Artemis, I'm not going to ban you from my channel for shilling conk, and I think anyone that reads it will come to their own conclusions. I still think agorism is stupid. I'm not going to pull any punches. Artemis knows this. Neil, around campus I sometimes bring up to kids that preferring to date within your own is not a bad thing, and a handful of them are receptive to it. Because it makes sense. It's not weird. I will never forget one time, now we're getting real spicy, aren't we? I'll never forget one time I tweeted and said, so what did I say? I don't remember what I said, but somebody got really mad and was like, well, you really, you narrowed yourself down. You're just limiting yourself by saying you would only date white guys. And I'm like, what? Oh, yeah. Sorry, my husband's screaming from the other room. One time I tweeted and said, that I was gonna block femboys. And somebody got really, really angry at me and said, well, why would you limit your audience like that? And I said, because if I don't agree with something, why would I associate with it just to get a few more thumbs yuppies on social media posts? That's insane. If you're watching this live stream back and you don't like what I'm saying and you're angry about it, unfollow, unsubscribe. I don't care, and I probably don't want to associate with you anyways, and that's fine. Separation is necessary. Ken in the chat, LOL femboys. Neil, tribalism leads to conflict. Conflict escalates into war. War ends with a new state. This is why I'm not libertarian. I'm a liberty advocate, and I advocate for liberty on a more positive scale. That's weird, Neil, because you've been incredibly negative in the chat the entire time I've been live streaming. So, You're not doing a very good job on the positive thing. I'm just saying. Also, Neil, tribalism is not something that can be beat out of people. So good luck. Have fun. Sounds like a liberal to me. He is. Yeah, you can't, that's the thing. That's why I think the tribalist... Neil Stone said, also being tribalistic is an issue because you just build an echo chamber. You don't care if you're right or wrong. I'm sorry, my brain is malfunctioning right now. I'm trying to be nice. That's why my brain's malfunctioning, because I want to say things, but I know I shouldn't because this is live on YouTube. For posterity, tribalism is natural. There are naturally formed groups. It's not something you have to support to have happen. It's natural. What needs effort and essentially tyranny is to suppress it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. AG Cass said, I have no any idea what any of these labels mean. I like guns and have to deal with a lot of lolberts online. Me too. Can you see? I got a whole mug. You're telling me, bro. Inquisitor Jack. Inquisitor Jack, I feel for you. I do. I saw your chat earlier about wanting a family and stuff. Neil Stone said, think of a tribe like this. You have all your family and you don't let anyone else in. Eventually your tribe will become so inbred it might become sterile. That is not how you spell sterile. This is why I hate the idea of tribalism. Did you just compare having a tribe and a group to belong in to incest? I haven't cussed all stream, okay? I've been doing very well. I don't know if y'all have noticed. What the fuck? I mean, respectfully, what the fuck? What? Unity and being anti-tribalism is just a fluffy way to say you are for forced integration. If you're for forced integration, oh my god, no. What are you saying now? What? Where did that go? How come I'm not seeing that? Hang on, he said something about... Did he say that I need to date outside my race or otherwise that's incest? Did he just... I can't see what he said. Where'd it go? I think he deleted his comment. I swear, you guys saw that, right? You saw that, right? Listen, respectfully, sir. Respectfully, sir. If you're in my chat telling me to date outside of my race, you're on the wrong channel. Like, really the wrong channel. Like, I don't know if you see, like, my skin color, but, like, you're probably on the wrong channel. Also, like, I'm not gonna dox my husband, but my husband's also white, and, not to trigger you, but I'm also gonna have white children, so. Sorry? I guess that makes me fucking inbred. God, my brain is about to explode. Like, are you a fucking FBI agent trying to get me to say Fed posty things? Because you're doing a really good job. I love how much fun we're having in the chat right now. Colton, did you send it to me in DMs on Telegram? Yeah, no, I saw that one, Colton, but he said something about race. I think he deleted it, though. I saw it up on my OBS. Hey, Paribal, what's up? Neil Stone, women who have guns are less likely to be assaulted. That's a fact. So it was my hate of gun control that led me to live movement, but I could be the exception, not the rule. Neil said my name has been tainted. It's okay, Neil. Magrid. The nuclear family is the smallest unit of society and should be structured around not the individual. Family creates communities, and communities build civilizations. Agree. Spoon, I'd be more active, but I'm modeling. Oh, do you do, like, modeling kits and stuff? That's cool. Women with guns is conserva boomer porn. Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it? Yeah, Spaced, I saw that comment, but he said something like specifically about dating outside of your race. It's okay, this is a live stream, and it was up on my OBS screen. So I'm definitely gonna see it later. Neil Stone, enjoy the rest of the stream. I'll just go instead of trying to be intellectually honest and refute my points. People are just commenting with faces. Well, I mean, I did say the proper reaction is to mock, so. Oh, Spoon said I'm working on background for my videos in industrial penthouse with an indoor garden. Oh, cool. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Gun, everybody should have a gun. Yeah, I didn't, This is a good discussion tonight, guys. I saw that you guys had a discussion in the chat. Had a pretty good discussion in the chat. McGrid said, any tips on talking to boomers about these issues? They all seem to be the turning point neocon type. The right-wing boomers are just as quick to label you a fascist as the left are. I mean, to be honest with you, I've had actually a lot of success talking to boomers, and I think the boomers have been radicalized. So I don't know if I have any tips. Super fans, I enjoyed that whole interaction. Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. Neil, Mac, a bit personal. Did you and your husband go to the same college? Don't have to answer if you don't want to. No, my husband and I met in high school. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. I'm trying to catch up with you guys. You guys have been very active tonight. I appreciate the discussion. Neil's been in my chat a few times, and every time he's in, it's a shit show. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just the truth. I mean, props to him for still watching my channel, I guess. I thought he would have left by now. He's very determined. Maybe eventually, he'll come around. Colton, high school sweethearts is the goal. I mean, to be fair, we started dating the last month of high school before we graduated. So, I mean, technically, I guess we're high school sweethearts, but like, are we really? To me, high school sweethearts is like, oh, you date all through high school and blah, blah, blah. Yiz said, base Christian whites marrying young is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I didn't marry as young as I wanted to. We got married when we were 25. We wanted to get married when we were like 19 or 20, but our parents were like, you're not doing that. So I'm very bitter about the fact that I didn't get married younger or as young as I wanted to. Yiz said, Spoon and I have that effect. It's good to see you and Spoon in the chat here. Hey Martin, what's up? I don't think I said hey yet. So some announcements. I think I'm going to wrap it up now, guys. For Posterity said, I'm kind of bitter for not being married right now and having the career I want right now, but I'm still young. It's a little bit different if you're a dude. Don't worry about it. Focus on yourself. Become a good man, a good person. I think you're a dude. I may have just misgendered you. Hagen said, dang, Mac, when you said married young, I was going to comment when my wife and I were married young, but I think you'd be jealous. Yeah, probably. Our parents were boomers and said, one of you, you have to have a college degree. I never even got a college degree. I ended up dropping out because I hated school and was tired of getting myself into debt. And we got married anyway. So we probably just should have got married earlier, but live and learn. All I can do is teach my kids better. Colton said, you get to tell people and your eventual kids that you two met and started dating in high school and be an actual example for your kids. Yeah, that's true. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad about it. I'm not the romantic type. I kind of cringe at like the high school sweethearts thing, but technically it is true. I mean, my husband was my first and only boyfriend and we're married now, so. All right. Yiz said, "Good night, everyone. Fun chat. Keep heart and speak the truth to all who are here." Yes, yes. I'm gonna be wrapping up myself here. Everybody, everybody. I guess we'll end on a wholesome note. We'll end on a wholesome note tonight. So, some things you all should know. I am going to be streaming like this every Tuesday evening. Yiz said, "Come be on Discord and Dragon soon." I would love to. I'm officially only working on weekends now, so I should be available Monday evenings. Side note, Mac, thoughts on PDAs? What do you mean by PDAs? You mean public displays of affection? That PDA? All right. I'll continue my announcements then. So I will be streaming every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. And you guys can hang out with me here on YouTube. I am also going to be streaming twice a week on Twitch. Thursday evenings for sure. I'll be playing Genshin Impact for the rest of September. It's a JRPG type game. It's kind of called Breath of the Waifu. It's like Breath of the Wild, but with anime waifus. I'm pretty active with talking to my chat. So you guys can come and hang out with me on Twitch. All of the links here to my Twitch and everything are in the description of this video. If you guys want to come hang out with me on Twitch, you guys are welcome to do that as well. I'm going to be doing that twice a week. I'm going down to once a week streaming on YouTube. It'll always be on Tuesday evenings. If you can't catch my live streams, they're always up after the fact, as you all know. But I'm also going to be trying to upload a few more videos. So if you're watching this back, if you're in the chat right now and you have a specific topic that you'd like to see me cover, you all really seem to like my BlackRock video, then you can go ahead and suggest another topic for me to cover like that. So, if you would like me to cover a specific topic, go ahead and comment it down below. There's that. It's not a JRPG. I know it's Chinese. It's not Japanese, but it's Breath of the Waifu. Okay, first of all. I'm aware it's a Chinese game. Don't remind me. I try not to think about it. But it is an RPG, so. Anyways. So, now that I've repeated this 80 times, getting distracted by you guys, the chat has been awesome tonight. Thank you guys for stopping by. Yes, it's a CRPG. Anyway, Tuesday evenings, you guys can always catch me here around 7 p.m. Central Time. I will be on time like I was tonight. And as for over on Twitch streaming games, I will be streaming Genshin Impact for the rest of September because I'm doing an event when it comes to Genshin Impact. So I will be streaming there Thursday evenings and sometime on the weekends. The best way, as always, to keep in touch with when I'm streaming is to join my public Telegram group, which is also linked in the description of this video. Anybody can join. It's a public. Download the Telegram app. Join the Mac and Liberty Telegram. I always pin to the top of my Telegram when the next time I'm streaming is. So if you want to know when I'm streaming, you can look at the community tab of my YouTube channel for when I'm streaming next, or join my Telegram. You'll always see on there. I also post on my Mac and Liberty Facebook page when I'm streaming as well. So, or if you follow me on Instagram, that's on the screen as well. I try to post across all of my social media when I'm going to be streaming so that I can give you guys the best notice in advance as possible. So, but you can always catch me here on Tuesday evenings if YouTube is your thing. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. We ended this on a wholesome note, so we love to see it. I saw somebody said in the chat that their parents are celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary this week, so that's very, very wholesome. Thank you to the few people who just followed me over on Twitch. I can see that a few people followed me. Appreciate all of you. And I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me tonight. At one point, we had almost 30 people watching, so that's awesome. My YouTube streams have been really awesome lately. I've been getting a lot of interaction for you guys. It seems like Tuesday evenings are a really good time to interact with you guys. So thank you guys all for coming out. It was great to see Yiz and Spoon and all the regulars in the chat. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the Telegram or over on Twitch, and if not, then I will see you next Tuesday if I don't catch you elsewhere. So everybody, I know this was not a very comfy stream, but everybody stay comfy the rest of the week and have a great week, and don't take the black pill, take heart, and everything's going to be okay.